Hi, I'm Paul from Trending Who, What, Where, and When. Today I'll be speaking with the best-selling and award-winning author Kevin D. Miller about his book, White Skies, Black Mingo. Kevin will be joining us from Burbank, California, USA.
Hi everybody, this is author Kevin D. Miller, and I am going to give you a little tour of Burbank, California. We are looking at the Burbank Airport right now. It used to be called the Bob Hope Airport. And driving down San Fernando Boulevard headed towards downtown Burbank. Beautiful trees, beautiful day. Downtown is a nice, quaint little area. You got a mall down there, a lot of little shops, a lot of little stores, just a fun place to walk around and hang out. And here is the famous Flappers Comedy Theater. Many big names and celebrities have performed there. So, and we're going to take a little drive down Magnolia Blvd. There's a lot of quaint little shops along these Magnolia, some antique stores, even one that sells clothes from old movie sets. And there's Handy's Market, best barbecue outdoor in Burbank. And here we are at Johnny Carson Park, and this is our dog Ollie. He's a multi-poo, and he definitely enjoys the park and a chance to get out and run around. And here's downtown Burbank again. This is the AMC Theater that has been closed since the start of the pandemic. And there's a few of the other shops and another nice area of downtown Burbank to hang out. A lot of folks like to hang out down here. Sometimes they have street performers performing. And a lot of little things going on. And this is new, statue of Batman, bronze statue of Batman. And over here they've got some old time pictures, I think, of the theater. Some nostalgic shots here. And let's take a drive by Warner Brothers Studios. Warner Brothers has got several studios throughout, spread out in Burbank. You can see some of the movie posters and TV show posters that they periodically switch out to advertise their latest in entertainment. And here's one of the Disney studio offices just up the road from Warner Brothers, where all the folks at Disney are creating all their amazing entertainment. And here's Burbank Studios, which is right across from Johnny Carson Park. And here's my book, White Skies, Black Mingo, award-winning book that I'm just released this last fall, available on Amazon and headlinebooks.com. Thanks for hanging out with me. That's the tour. Come down and visit Burbank sometime when you're in Southern California. Have a great day, everybody.
Please begin by telling us about where you would take people when they came to visit you in and around your home in Burbank, California.
Oh, sure. There's so much to do in Burbank, and Burbank's its own municipality as well. It's not a suburb of LA, even though it's close to LA. It's its own municipality. And one of the cool things about Burbank is while all the other cities have paid parking, all the parking's free in Burbank. So you can park anywhere and not worry about, putting quarters in a meter.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah. So that's a good deal. Burbank's, it's always one of the safer cities ranked in the country. They got a great, PD here. But I would recommend first going downtown. Downtown Burbank is really cool. It's a quaint little area. Got a lot of little stores and shops and a mall down there. And there's a lot of street performers that sometimes, you know, set up and they're singing songs and doing different things. So it's kind of a cool, fun place to just go walk around, especially right now when you need to get out. Another thing that's really interesting about Burbank is all the studios, all the movie studios. So there's Warner Brothers, there's Disney, the Burbank studios, Nickelodeon, you know, so there's a lot of studios around here. It's kind of cool to drive around and, you know, go check them out, look at them. I think Warner Brothers has like several studios spread out across Burbank. And there's tours. I mean, you can sign up for tours. They might not be going on right now, but I'm sure they'll, when everything reopens, they'll reinstitute those tours and stuff. And there's a street called Magnolia Boulevard that we like to drive down because there's just these cool little shops down there where you can find antiques and different things. And there's one particular store we go to sometimes that has clothes that was used for, you know, movie sets. There's a lot of hiking. Hollywood signs not too far away. West Hollywood's 30 minutes, a 30-minute drive, you know, to go check out Grauman's, you know, Chinese theater and the Walk of Fame. And so there's a lot to do. It's a nice little town, very friendly people, kind of a small townish feel to it.
Well, then would you be seeing a lot of actors and actresses in the area that you're in?
Oh yeah, no, we have. We've seen several celebrities, and the fact that my two daughters have been acting, which is really the reason we're here. We're from the East Valley in Phoenix, outside of Phoenix. We actually lived in Goodyear, was the last place we owned a home. But we came here for acting. And so, yeah, we do. We run into celebrities. You know, we know a few celebrities, and you see them out and about, because Burbank's a pretty centralized area with the studios and such. And there's a lot of folks that live here. Ron Howard actually graduated from the high school that my two daughters, my oldest daughter graduated from, and my youngest one just is a freshman this year. Yeah, so it's a lot of big names, you know, floating around, and you will see a celebrity once in a while.
I loved reading White Skies, Black Mingo. Love the history and the suspense. Kevin, you've written another hit. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you, Paul. I appreciate that. Yeah, I appreciate that very much.
Please tell us about the research involved in creating this historical fiction story.
Sure. Yeah, the initial idea came to me kind of inspired by my great-great-grandparents. My great-great-grandmother was in the Haudenosaunee Nation, which is more commonly known as Iroquois. She was Ohio Seneca. They referred to her as Mingo in that day. It's kind of a derogatory term, I think, nowadays, but the Mingo were mostly Ohio Seneca. And my great-great-grandfather was the son of Irish immigrants. He was a Civil War veteran. So I looked at this and I'm like, all right, this is an interracial love story. It's a forbidden love story, you know? So I wanted to write a story about it. So I used 23andMe, I used Ancestry, I did a lot of research. I found as much information about both of them as I could, which there wasn't a whole lot out there. So the story is really historical fiction, you know, just inspired by my great-great-grandparents. I had to spend time doing that. I had to spend time researching the Civil War to make sure all my facts were correct. I spent time researching West Virginia and the Virginia area, plantations of those times. You know, I had to do a lot of research on the people, the Haudenosaunee people themselves, their cultures, their beliefs, their religions, their point of view towards the European settlers, because I wanted to tell this story as honestly and raw as I could from the eyes of a young Native American girl. And that's what I tried to stay, you know, true to. So it took a lot of research in that regard to kind of figure all that out. You know, and then of course the Civil War, the slavery aspect, and those different parts.
Well, tell us about your book, White Skies, Black Mingo.
Sure. Yeah. The story is, like I said, it's kind of a story of a forbidden love, but it's a whole lot more than that. I mean, it starts out with young Margaret Davis, who's my great-great-grandmother. Her native name is Kateri. And her mother and her shaman grandmother are fleeing their clan due to an epidemic, which kind of relates to kind of what we're going through today. There's an epidemic of smallpox. So they're fleeing their clan in Ohio, and they're headed for Wheeling, Virginia. And it's Wheeling, Virginia, because it's before West Virginia was a state. And on their road, you know, she's 12 years old, and she's got also her companions, her two wolf companions. Keika and Hatu are her pets. They're pulling a wagon, you know, of their supplies and helping them on their journey. But she, as the journey continues, she ends up lost and alone and facing a terrible winter storm, because it's the onset of the, you know, winter at the time. So it's kind of a story of courage and perseverance, and how a young, you know, Native American girl survives this situation that she's thrown in. Through a betrayal, later she finds herself in servitude on a plantation in Virginia, and later finds herself in the center of the darkest period of American history, the Civil War. And that's where she meets a Union soldier that she falls in love with, and it's a forbidden love, and there's a lot of conflict and great stuff to write around there, you know. So that's the story. And it's getting, you know, it's getting a lot of great reviews. It's getting a lot of good attention. I'm getting a lot of good feedback on it. So I'm really pleased how the story turned out.
Your book detailed many important life lessons: forgiveness, strength, kindness, cultural integrity, and respect. Please tell us a little about this.
Yeah, that's kind of the overall theme of the book. The overall theme is it's about love and forgiveness and courage and perseverance, and just, you know, finding a way to survive and finding a way to, you know, to forgive and to love honestly. I did a lot of research with the Haudenosaunee people themselves, and they're just an amazing, advanced, wonderful people, you know, that have been given kind of a bad rap in history, you know, the Native Americans. They're a matriarchal society, I learned, and you know, the mothers, you know, that men and women in that society are equal. It's a foreign idea to them that, you know, that the man dominates the, you know, society, like in European society, like our own society. And the women, the men are the chiefs, but the women elect the chiefs. And if the women don't like the job the chief's doing, they will impeach him and replace him and get somebody in there that's going to do the work. The women own the land. They you know, Mother Earth, you know, has given the earth to the woman, and the woman raises the crops, and the land belongs to her in their culture. The man marries into the woman's family and becomes a part of her clan, and their children are part of the mother's clan. So as I said, it's a very matriarchal society, very equal, and a very advanced society, because if reading the history books and stuff, there was a lot of influence by the Iroquois or the Haudenosaunee on the formation of our own country and our own Declaration of Independence and our own, you know, government as we set it up. Their government was kind of a model for our own government. There was a lot of, I know Benjamin Franklin, some of the forefathers took a lot of ideas from these great people.
Would you like to mention or read a few of the amazing reviews on this book that are on your website?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Without sounding like I'm, you know, trying to be humble and stuff, but there's some really beautiful reviews that just amaze me, and I'm very humbled by them. The first one I'd like to read actually comes from, here, I'll read it on the back of the book here. And here's the book.
Okay.
That's the book. And I'm going to read it I'm going to read a couple from the back of the book. This first one comes from a lady named Dreama Denver, who you might know is the widow of TV icon Bob Denver of Gilligan's Island. She read the book for me and was willing to put a blurb on the book. She says, from the first page to the last, I was drawn into a world populated by characters who stole my heart, living a story that kept me on the edge of my seat. Here's another one by a predominant screenwriter and playwright in Hollywood named Ty DeMartino. He says, from the first moment you meet Native American Kateri, Margaret, in White Skies, Black Mingo, the young heroine's spirit and courage will captivate you. Miller's gripping writing will take you on a thrilling adventure of danger, American history, redemption, and love. You will be completely enthralled. And if I could, I'd like to read a couple from some that I just recently received that I just thought were just really so nice. This one is a guy named Kenny Edwards. He says, out of the park hit. He goes, I just finished White Skies, Black Mingo in just 2 sittings. I rarely read a book so quickly. Kevin Miller has done it again. And with this book, it is quickly captivating, drawing the reader into the story at a level far beyond simply reading a book. I was drawn into the story immediately, almost like a movie extra, never speaking or being spoken to, but still a part, feeling and being affected by the story's unfolding events. The description manner in which it is written demonstrates research, attention to detail, both cultural integrity and respect, and a clear understanding of the human condition. All in all, an amazing book, and I highly recommend. But those are some of the examples of some of the reviews that the book's getting, some honest reviews, and it just blows me away. So I'm very flattered by it.
You've won a number of awards with this book. Mom's Choice Awards Gold and the New England Book Festival Best General Fiction Honorable Mention.
Yes.
Keith, tell us about these awards.
Oh, this was a thrill for me. The first one that it won was it was entered into the New England Book Festival last year, and yeah, it came back in the Best General Fiction area for an honorable mention. So, which I was thrilled by that. And then about a month later, I found that Mom's Choice Awards, the Mom's Choice Awards, you know, they're pretty big, and I was really had my fingers crossed on this one, but they review products, you know, from toys to furniture to all kinds of different things that mothers would approve of, including books and children's books and stuff. So they reviewed my book, and I came back with a gold, their top award. So I was just over the moon by getting that. I've actually got the stickers for it, and I've put them on the book right now. The book is also entered in several other book awards. I just haven't heard back yet. It's been entered into the LA Book Festival and Reader's Favorite Book Awards and several others. So keep my fingers crossed that the awards keep coming in. So that really makes me feel good, because it validates, you know, me as an author, I think, and it's
And the amount of effort you put into it.
yes,
Considerable effort.
It's rewarding, sure.
Are there any passages from your book that you would like to read and share with us?
Yeah, I would love to read a passage from the book. Sure, I've got one here in the first chapter. Let me tell you what's going on there. Kateri and her mother and grandmother are on the road, and this is Kateri speaking. So let me just go ahead and jump in. She teaches me to be a healer. She says mother did not inherit the gift, that it skips a generation. Since I was a young girl, she has told me I possess this gift. But what good is such a gift if it is powerless to save the lives of our people? Most of our clan have died. We could stay no longer. The ones who survive will soon die. The other clan mothers begged us to leave. The men burned our homes, burned our dead in the traditional burial ceremony, freeing their spirits. We took what we could carry, food skins, beads, and shells for trade. And now we are here on the trail, headed for Virginia to find a new home. We left our brother and our father behind, carrying their memory with us, abandoning our home, uncertain what we will find or how we will live. Kateri, yes, grandmother, we will rest here for the night. Help your mother set up the shelter, then help me build a fire and we shall eat. Wood crackles, popping cherry red sparks into the night sky. The sounds calm the spirit with hypnotic songs of whispering wood. Flames flicker, casting a soft glow dancing off the faces of grandmother and mother. Grandmother's face is aged and wrinkled from years of carrying important responsibilities for our clan. A strong face weathered by time, time that has stolen teeth and dulled the shine from her once luminous nut brown eyes. Eyes she has passed down to me. Her body is crooked and frail, but her spirit is strong like the mountain. Her voice carries authority like the raging river. The women of our clan are strong leaders, highly respected by all. Mother's face was once useful. Now her ebony eyes are swollen and sunken. She neglects her beauty, her thick hair unbraided and tattered like the ruffled feathers of a raven. Lips and cheeks chapped and reddened. She speaks very little. It's almost as if the loss of father and my brother has already claimed her spirit. Sweat beads on her cheeks and brow. She doesn't eat. I do not know how to comfort her or what words to speak. Even grandmother cannot find the wisdom or words to give her rest. And it was mother who taught me the importance of keeping my hair tightly braided and sleekly oiled to manage its bulkiness. She taught me how to look pretty, telling me it will help me attract a good husband someday. But I don't know if I'm pretty, and I hate the scar on my chin. I stood too close watching a game of stickball. A boy we call Kicking Elk whacked me in the face as he slung the ball down the field. And I have the body of a boy, something I hope will change soon. My legs are long and skinny, and I am taller than most of the boys, but I can run like the whitetail. I could outrun every boy in our clan. They made fun of me for it, but I didn't care. That made me feel special beating them. I wanted to play stickball, but girls aren't allowed, probably because they're afraid to lose to us. The boys told me I smile too much and that stickball is a serious game. I told them I also smile when I race, and they had no answer for that. I'll stop there. I'll leave it there.
That's great. Thank you.
Yes. So Kateri is very spirited. She's a very deep, thoughtful young lady, but she's also very athletic, and I think she enjoyed, beating the boys when it came to running.
So I was happy to see in the email notes that you sent me that you're working on an upcoming future book.
Yes, I've got my third book that I'm working on. I've got it really close to being ready to go to my editor. So it's getting close. So it'll probably be released sometime this year. I went a little bit away from my normal genre. My first book, Heart of Steel, was actually based on a true story of my grandfather. It's kind of a historical book, a historical drama based on a true story. White Skies, Black Mingo is historical fiction. I love historical fiction and I love writing in it. I wanted to try something a little bit different, and I wrote a story in my same style, and it reads like my other two books does, but it's more of a sort of a science fiction. It's the protagonist is a neurosurgeon who has developed a revolutionary cryogenic procedure where they freeze, for terminal ill patients who have no other option. They just want to be frozen and hopefully wake up in the future to be cured and start their life over. But she's in charge of this project. So it creates some interesting scenarios. The inciting incident for the story, for the book, is she comes to a crossroad early on in the story where she learns that she herself is stricken with a form of brain cancer that's essentially incurable. So she has to make a decision. Do I stay here and try to fight the cancer, or do I enter the very program I've created? So obviously the protagonist always makes the wrong choice. She enters her own program, and now I've got just a wonderful amount of different twists and turns to go with this story as to what happens to her when she enters her own program and wakes up in the future. So I'll leave it at that for now. I have my wife, she's my critique partner. She's a great critique partner. She reads all my books, and she called White Skies, Black Mingo her obsession. She said, I loved Heart of Steel, but White Skies, Black Mingo is my obsession. It was really hard to get her to read this book because it's not really, she's a historical fiction fan. But when I finally got her to read it, she just like, oh my gosh, she goes, this is a great story. She says, I'm physically tired because I felt like I went on a long journey, like I lived this whole story and went on the journey with this protagonist. But it hooked her in, and she read it in like a day and a half, and she gave me the thumbs up on it. So if I get her approval, she's a tough sell. I know that it's a good story. So I'm excited about it.
That sounds good. So that's to be the near future then, maybe the next few months.
Yeah. Very soon. I'm real close to getting there. So I expect to have it over to the editor within the month, and then we'll see from there. I'll see if my current publishers wants to take it on, and if not, I'll just self-publish it if they're not interested in it. And either way, I'm going to get it out there probably within by this year sometime.
Please share with us any advice that you would have for new writers.
Absolutely. For new writers, number one, sit down and write, just start writing, and don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there. because writing is an art, the same as singing, the same as acting, the same as dance. As an artist, you have to be willing to open yourself up and be vulnerable and accept, criticism. Not everybody's going to love your story, but you're always going to find audience for your story. And my advice is to not be afraid. Learn as much as you can. Spend as much time learning from, the masters and learning, reading books and learning how to write, and find your own style, find your own voice. But the way to learn to be a writer is to sit down at your computer or however you do and start writing and write your story. Everybody's got a story, everybody's got a story inside them. So just take the time. So many people intend to or want to write a story, but the first step is do it, do it. Don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid. Just write your story and take it from there, So that's my advice. Don't be afraid, don't be afraid to do it. You can find all my books on my website at authorkevinmiller.com. And and we've got some audiobooks coming out. I'm waiting to hear back from ACX and Audible on, they're reviewing the Heart of Steel audiobook right now. And White Skies, Black Mingo is currently being recorded by a wonderful voice actor named Aliska Hahn. She is voicing the book, and I've heard some sample chapters so far, and she's blowing me away. Her voice is exactly the voice that I hear when I was writing the book. So that should be coming out in the next few months, both the audio books. The other, and then of course the other thing, Heart of Steel, we're still working on, has been optioned for a movie deal. So we're still working on getting that ready, pitching it to the studios here in Southern California to see if we can't get that book on screen. And if we do, we might start pitching White Skies too and see if we can get that, get some interest in that story as well.